Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, October the 4th. Hey, we got our usual crowd joining us. We got Tom, Lee, Gentry, and Tracy gonna kick some knowledge for you on their bodies of water. We'll be right back with what our boys have to say. Hey, we're joining with Tracy Robinson, who is mentally preparing himself for that Ultimate Angler Challenge coming up on Guntersville right now. But he's been out there on Logan Martin and Lay Lake, and we're going to find out what's happening there because we can't talk to Tracy about Lake Guntersville. Tracy, what's going on your lakes?
Yeah, Logan Martin still picking up each week. The water temperatures, creeping down slowly. Started heading towards some fall temps there, and then it turned summer again for a day or two. But they're still hovering 77 to 80-degree water temperature, which is making the fish bite a little better. Still catching a lot of schooling fish out on the main lake there. On the flats. The flats are anywhere from 3 to 6 foot deep on the Logan Martin flats, kind of in that mid-river lake. Some of your schooling fish, your topwater actions, your spook or rattle trap, whatever you kind of like to throw to catch schooling fish. The fish don't really care. Flash is something flashy a little bit out there, but those fish are kind of easy to catch. The bigger fish are being caught on the docks. If you watch the NPFL, any of that action over there, hopping a jig, stroking a jig under the main lake docks, or maybe the first dock or two just inside the main river points. You can get in the pockets just a little bit, but either main lake or just inside the pockets is where that activity is happening at. So anyway, sorry, but anyway, that activity is good right now if you want to get out there and do some of that.
Yeah, and our good friend Scott Canterbury won that tournament, a second $100,000 payday of the year in NPFL. So that's pretty stinking cool.
Yes, that was a good payday for him and good event.
All right, so crappie boats are out there. You're kind of seeing them just starting to kind of go into those causeways and around the bridge pilings and openings of creeks. What are you seeing out of Lay Lake?
Lay Lake still fishing, like a grass lake, shallow lake. A lot of fish being caught up shallow, top water in the morning, swim jig around the grass patches, whatnot. Later in the day, the timber still playing, swim baits, spinner baits, bringing something by the timber to pull those fish off the timber are pretty good choices right now. And then on the lower end, the bluff walls from Paint Creek back a mile or two, the spotted bass are seeing some schooling activity near the bank and even out in the middle out there chasing the bait fish. So find the bait fish out there, spinner bait, top water, spitting type lures. That's probably your best bets out there. Seeing a few crappie boats starting to come around, some long lining, strolling going on out there. Unsure what they're catching or the numbers, but I can see them out there starting to increase as the fall month kind of roll around.
Yeah, and that'll just get better as it starts to cool off a little bit more. All right, Tracy, brother, we appreciate everything. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you again next week, my friend. Hey, we got Tom Ott joining us. He looks very relaxed in his nice little recliner there in his garage. Tom, let's talk a little bit of Guntersville. Man, that Ultimate Angler Challenge is coming up. What do you think it's going to take to win that 2 day tournament?
Golly, Dano. Right now, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, this fall fishing is kind of crazy anyway. You don't see those really big weights generally, but I mean, at least 20 pounds or, winning the local events and things like that. So, golly, it could be upwards. It could be. I mean, if the scoping guys really come on, is that something that they can do? Can they scope?
I
I
guess. I'm not
mean,
sure.
I'm not sure either, but if that's something that can happen, geez, it could be up in the 30s. But if it's maybe even if it's a bridge kind of game, it could be in that range. But I'm still expecting somewhere, maybe I'll say 48 pounds for 2 days. Probably pick it up, but that's just a wild guess on
I'm
my
going to
part.
say
I'm not.
53 is going to take it to win for 2 days. That's what I'm going to say.
I don't know that that's a bad guess at all. I would put money on either one. I think. But I mean, there's just so many ways to catch fish. I think probably the biggest fish being caught are being caught on that frog and flipping right now. But and the grass is really changing. From way upriver, it's been really kind of soupy. That's starting to happen downriver, but you just don't have as much matted grass downriver. So there's a give and take on both ends of it. Are you going to run and gun, or are you going to just lock down in an area and really just put that frog to work? And I think that's going to be the deal. But yeah, I don't think you could go wrong either way. I mean, if you want to just go catch a bunch of fish, go hit some humps and things like that, catch the larger fish, I think you're going to have to work for them a little bit more.
What about crappie? Are you hearing anything out of that? Maybe some striper or anything going on?
I still haven't seen a whole lot of striper action, and really not just a tremendous amount of schooling action. But on the crappie front, now I have been hearing some nice bags are starting to come out of those causeway areas, the bridge areas, that are a little bit deeper. So, I mean, it's coming. I mean, it's probably not time for me to get out there yet, but I mean, I've got some friends that are really tearing it up. So, if you're into that, it's time to go.
All right, brother. We appreciate everything. Thanks for the time that you spend with us every week. Have fun this week, and we'll be talking to you again soon. Hey, we got Lee Pitts joining us. We're going to talk a little bit of Neely Henry and Weiss Lake. We're going to start at Neely Henry, even though he's sitting on the shores of Weiss Lake. Lee, what's going on at Neely Henry these days?
Well, I'll tell you, the reason I'm about to put in here at Weiss because I've been to Neely most of the morning. So that's the intro of what I'm fixing to say.
There we go.
It's kind of the same type fishing. I got there early this morning and I had a little bit of a topwater bite. It's just not much size to it. If you want to get out and just go have some fun, I threw a little 1/4 ounce buzz bait around the edge of some of these weed beds and kind of went on around some wood cover. Caught fish, you can get out and catch some fish right now. It's a little tough on the bigger fish. I think that water temperature needs to cool down a little more. I was looking at 77, 78 this morning. So it still needs to cool down some. I think, here it is. Hey, it's October. Here we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. October. Here we go.
Yeah,
But
we're about to
it needs
haunt
to
them
get a little
fish,
cooler.
aren't we?
Yeah, we're ready for it, man. We're ready for it to turn on, and it's coming. Um, I had a little bit of a spinnerbait bite, and then once the sun got up and it started getting hot, I got around some of these docks, and today I just kind of threw a little bit of Texas rig worm, 6-inch worm, and got bit, but just didn't. For tournament fishermen, didn't have the size bites that I wanted. But if you're out fun fishing, wanting to have a good time, you can get out and catch some fish right now.
Yep, I bet you can. And I know that crappie bite's starting to kind of slide to them docks a little bit. Ooh, that's getting fun too. All right, let's go Weiss.
Right.
Yep, let's go to Weiss Lake. Let's talk your home lake. What's going on there, and why are you there right now?
Well, it's some of our better fish up the river are starting to get on these docks and out in front of these docks, getting on that wood cover. And two, we're catching a lot of short fish. So the same type deal, if you want to get out and have a good time and catch a lot of fish, you can pick up a little crankbait, even a small trap right now, and just cover water on some of this open water stuff on your high spots, your gravel bars, things like that. The better largemouth is going to be around wood cover right now. Weiss doesn't have quite the grass bite that Neely has going on right now, but that's not saying you can't catch fish in the grass. It's more scattered. You're looking for some of those isolated places that may have a little more depth in it, may be closer to the creek channel or creek swing. So they're not everywhere in the grass, but when you find that right grass, he's there.
All right, now let's turn to your namesake. You're the crappie king of Weiss Lake. What are the crappie doing?
Thank goodness they're starting to bite pretty good. So still not catching the big numbers, but the fish are getting where they need to be. Really graphing a lot of fish right now. As you said earlier, fish are starting to kind of go to some of these deeper docks a little bit. They're getting on those poles. You guys that like to do that dock shooting, hey, it's getting your time of year, and still the fish are really, really relating to the wood cover out there in the open water. So look for the drops, look for that wood out there, and just the open water stuff, you can set right over the top of them and vertical jig them. Once again, my Bobby Garland baby shads has been a good bait for me. My dock shooting, I've went to some of the itty bits to kind of slow down, smaller profile bait, slower fall, and picking off some fish right now. So it's coming. We're just waiting on a little bit of cooler weather.
Thanks, brother. We appreciate everything. We'll talk to you next week. Hey, we're joined by our good friend Gentry Gordy. Going to talk a little bit of Lake Martin and Jordan Lake fishing. Gentry, I don't know. I don't care where you start. You go ahead and pick what we got.
Man, no, there ain't nothing changed since last week. We got some rain, but it wasn't enough to do anything. The only thing is the days are getting a little bit shorter. The temperature's not really falling off like I was hoping by now. It's like, for Martin, for instance, the better fish are still coming on trash piles with a jig and a shaky head and, tipping it with a crankbait or something like that. And that 8 to 12 foot. You can catch them shallow. You can catch them a little bit deeper. You can catch them out schooling. They're everywhere. They're around the bait, but the better fish that I have found they're just coming off those trash piles or, some of that bigger chunk rock or something like that for your better spot bass. The night bite's still pretty decent though. Just a flutter spoon and a black and blue and a black Nico rig or a wacky rig and a glide bait, stuff like that. So, just a lot of there hasn't been enough change in the weather or nothing like that to really throw something dramatic in there. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, so what about the crappie bite? Are you seeing a bunch of boats out there? You kind of getting the sense of where they may be?
Yeah, you're still, I still see the crappie boats. I haven't talked to the guys, but there again, you still see them around those green lights at night too. So, at nighttime they'll get up there and feed. So maybe the night bite's better for the crappie, but I don't know. I haven't done it, but I have seen the crappie boats out there. Not like they will be in a few weeks, but they're out there.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Jordan Lake, I know Alabama rigs are big upriver, swim baits, maybe even a jig up there. What else are you kind of seeing downriver? What are you seeing there but down lake?
Down the river, I actually talked to a friend of mine because I didn't get a chance to go up. And he said he's been really catching some good fish on a white chatterbait, which everybody throws it, but not so much in the summertime, but I throw it way more in the wintertime. But maybe they're starting to. He said they're starting to really hit that. I'm sure it's got something to do with the bait. It's bigger than the actual bait that's out there. We've talked about that.
Yep.
But catching some good fish on that down there, throwing it around docks and seawalls, stuff like that. Catching some fish on a jig, skipping docks. The top water bite, he said it's just hit or miss. Some mornings they hit it, some mornings they won't touch it. But he said they're up there, but just throw a wacky rig or a jig up on the seawalls early and they're hitting that, but they won't come up and commit to a top water. So
sometimes that low light, kind of maybe a little fog or something kind of sets them off. All right, brother, we appreciate everything. We will talk to you again next week, my friend. Well, that wraps up our Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, October the 4th. Hey, thanks, guys, for everything that you do every week. It helps. We hear all the time how much people appreciate the information to be able to go starting point, to be able to figure out how to get a bite on their favorite body of water. We hear it all over the state when we're traveling. Thanks, guys, for everything that you do. Hey, folks, don't forget, it's Bucks Island. We are here to help you. You are the best part of us. If you're looking for that boat, come see Katie, Patrick, and Melissa. They'll help you, even if it's some Christmas gift that you want to give to your favorite person. It won't fit under the tree, but it'll fit in their hearts. If you want your boat to keep running, come see our parts department or the service department. And, of course, tackle, clothing, sunglasses, all kinds of accessories up in the loft. Come see us at Bucks Island. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to you again next week.